So, what's up, guys? Today I'm down with Bran Harper, who is the CEO of Revamp Reno. Bran is one of our very, very first mentees when we started the program, and basically in this call, we're going to kind of deep dive into where he was before, where he's at now, what we've achieved so far, and what that means to him, his business, and his family. So, Bran, welcome down to the channel, man. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Happy to be here, man. Happy to be on board as well.
It's good to know. Thank you very much. So just a couple of quick questions for you, basically. You can go into as much depth as you like with this. But
Yeah.
before we started working together, kind of where were you at? Where was the business at? How did you feel um, about the agency before you come on board with the mentoring program?
Yeah, okay, got you. So before I come on board, I've had my agency now for 5 years, but when I come on board with yourself, I think I was about 4 years deep. And originally, I used to work as an electrician, and I used to be doing like 3K a month working out of town. And I saw an ad on YouTube by Jordan Platten, and that's how I got into the agency space. The dream was to make 10K, quit my job. And I jumped on that program, and I was stuck at I think the height I got to was about 5K per month. But then for about 3 years it was well, hold on, let me rewind. So when I first started, COVID hit, and I
Yeah.
never made a penny for like 18 months, I think it was. I went through all of my savings, and I just couldn't really get no clients at all. I got one client, then I get another client in another industry, then another client in another industry, and everything was just all over the place. And that carried on for like 3 years, and then my partner Lauren got pregnant last year. No, last year, about a year and a half ago, and that was when I spoke to you then, and I was doing around 2-3K per month. It's costing me about a grand, £1,500 to keep the agency afloat. I never had no money coming in. Everything was going out. I was in personal debt of like 13 grand. And like my missus didn't know. She knows about it now, but she didn't know at the time. And like everything was just a mess, and I couldn't grow the agency, man, because I was too thinly spread in different industries.
Yeah.
So like I say, the height of the agency was like 5K per month. And I remember you starting. I know you from other networks in the past. I think that you went through
Yeah.
Jordan stuff years and years and years ago, but you was like one of those very few that I know of that like took off compared to everyone else. So it's obvious like you knew something that like the rest of us didn't know or the rest of us weren't doing. So we had our initial conversations, but at the time, the fee to get started, it was like everything I was making. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, and that was like when I was at my lowest point. Like I think when I got in touch with you, I might have been doing like 1,500 a month or something, and it was just
Yeah.
like I want to get started, man, but I can't. But what helped me make the decision to jump on board was a few of the people that were already in the coaching group, like Aaron Fraser, and there were a couple more. I spoke to Aaron. He recommended you highly, and he said like to get out of your situation, the situation I was in, and get to like the 10-20K per month mark. He said, look, you were the go-to man. And like I was a bit skeptical, man. I never believed it. I think it took me like another 6 months to actually
So
jump on board.
I looked at this morning. So when
Yeah.
you came aboard, I looked back through the entire conversation. So yeah, you were doing £1,500 a month there or thereabouts. And
Yeah.
at the time, the fee for the
Scary.
one-to-one stuff was 1,500. So I get it. And it actually took you 18 months from that initial
18 months,
conversation.
yeah.
18
Mate,
months
my,
from
my
when you
time
first reached
scale,
out to signing up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my time scale might have been a little bit off there, but yeah, it's all that back then just seems like a blur, like a massive disaster. So when I jumped on board with you, that was like it was like I was at a crossroads then, man. Like, am I going to have to? Because my missus was saying to me, man, because she was about to have our baby in like the next few months,
I remember that.
and
Yeah.
I wasn't bringing no money in, man. I was trying my best, mate. But what I found, what I was doing everything wrong. So I was stuck in the trenches of a day to day, and because like in order to scale, you need to focus on like one industry, one service, and put everything into that so it's duplicatable and scalable, like you taught me. But what I
Yeah.
was doing is every strategy was different. And I was finely spread. I was doing like 16 hour days and stuff, but I just weren't doing the right stuff. And my missus was saying to me, like, oh, you're gonna have to get a new job, you're gonna have to quit this, like, you've tried your best, it's been years, I don't think it's happening. But that was when, like, it was like that jump to come with yourself. And I think within the first month or two, I think it was within the first 2 months, I got to like 10K.
Yeah,
And I signed it.
I remember you went really, really quick. I remember
Yeah,
we'll come on to kind of where you are
yeah, yeah,
right
yeah.
now and what we've achieved in a second. But I remember the first kind of initial hurdles you overcome and the kind of real kick up the arse was finding out that obviously Lauren was pregnant and you were obviously having your now daughter and you. I remember you come to me, you come onto the call and you just went, I have no other option but to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
this work. Like it's so
yeah,
much bigger than me now. And what you were saying about you stuck in the trenches in the day to day is so common across everything. And a lot of people that we have come in are stuck in like a churn and burn fulfillment cycle.
yeah, yeah,
So they sign a client, they get stuck on the fulfillment for so long that they don't outreach another client. They then start to panic because revenue stagnate, and typically between like 1,500 to 5K a month is the kind
yeah,
of rough bits that we see there. And then that client drops off because inevitably you're stressed, and that comes out into your business. The results dip, and then you're going back, and it's just that never-ending
yeah, yeah,
cycle. And people go
yeah,
around in that cycle for years and years, and you
yeah,
see it all the time. And as much as there's a lot of information out there, people get stuck in analysis paralysis. So
yeah.
the
And
kind
they
of
get the new shiny object syndrome where they find a
yeah,
solution on YouTube and then they'll find a solution on socials and they'll see an ad and they just never get, because I've done it, you just never get nowhere because you get no real traction with anything.
they spend more of their time on like you say on YouTube and on Google and on ChatGPT going, how the fuck do I do this?
Yeah,
Rather
yeah,
than just stepping in out of the day to day and just doing it. And that's the biggest thing. Like you said, obviously at the top of the call there, I was one of the few that kind of just took off really quickly. And for those who know my story, know that essentially for me it was risk free and it did. But the kind of key difference was the fact that I knew I had to get out of the day to day quick. I knew that I
yeah.
just had to, find a replicable process, repeat it over and over and over until the results came. And that's something that we
And
brought on.
uh, and one thing as well, I remember on our first call, I remember like all the information that you're giving me and everything, and we got like a structure to get there. Like you just like I don't want to go into too much about what you've given me because that's the secret sauce. But I know that you had. I remember you telling me you had somebody mentor you beforehand who was at a higher level than you, and I think his name was Adam.
Yes, correct. Yeah, Adam Power.
Yeah, and yeah, and he taught you to focus on one thing, focus on one industry, and the way that you've built that into like it's like a system to follow to bring clients to because when I started putting everything into play, the content, I started to arrange my calendar day to day, my outreach strategies, it started to all come to me, and I've never had that before. Where it was like I was getting like 3 to 4 calls booked per day sometimes, and it was all inbound because of like a few things that I was doing that he was telling me to do to actually pull clients in and to build my own personal audience. And it can be more powerful than advertising for your own business.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also things that you put in there in your coaching program to attract more clients from the clients that you've already got. Yeah,
Yeah.
mate. So it's like a massive snowball effect, man. And it all happened, like you say, within a couple of months, and now it's at like another level, really.
Yeah. So in going into that other level now, kind of where are you now that obviously you've been with us for about 18 months, and what's the biggest thing you think we've achieved so far together?
Okay, so where I'm at now, I've got around 40 clients. I'm
Mhm.
probably doing, not everyone's, obviously my pricing's gone up
Yeah,
as I've grew, but I'm probably doing around 36 to 37K a month now.
yeah,
Whereas that's 10 times what I was doing like a year ago. But that could be like, I could be a lot higher than that now. But the only problem is that like when you get to like the 10K, the goal's not really 10K because once you get to 10k, you unlock more problems. Once you get to 20k, you unlock more problems. Once you get to 30k, you unlock more problems. So it's like you'll get to like a new ceiling, and then you get, which is a good thing really. But I could be a lot further along than what I am because most of my growth came at the very start when I jumped on board.
Yeah. Yeah, for
And
sure. Do you think that I mean, speaking with like, every 35k month, it doesn't hurt at all, does it? When you see that dropping into your bank account every
nah,
month,
nah,
it's not
it's
a problem.
crazy, mate. It's crazy. And this is another thing. Look, when I was talking, because we've had personal conversations where I've said, "Look, Mark, mate, I can't believe what's going on in how good my life is now." Like, I'll send pictures to you, Warno, but laughing about my daughter saying like it was KFC, it was McDonald's fish fingers about last year, but we're eating good this year. Like,
Yeah,
mate, everything in my life, not just business, is significantly different. Like I say, when I first started, my daughter was a few months out from being born. I couldn't afford to buy her anything. My missus works at the NHS, earns £1,000 a month. I had to pay for everything. I couldn't, and there's times, mate, I've parked on car parks, and it, mate, gets me a bit emotional, man, thinking about it. But there's been times that I've parked on car parks with my missus, my pregnant missus, and I couldn't even afford the parking. But yeah, man, it's mad. And like I said to you the other day, like when I had like a little win, I went and bought me a new watch. I
did
had
you?
to, yeah, I had to sell my first real. You know, when you get your first real luxury thing. Like
Yeah,
my first one was like a tag watch, and I had to sell that. And I've now like I've had all this growth, and it's not really massive success, but I've had success. Like my life's changing in massive ways, man, and that's all down to like yourself and what you've done. Because if I'd have never come on board, I don't even know where I'd have been.
yeah,
You
for
know what
sure.
I mean?
Thank you, man. I mean, I think it's also important to remember that it's all down to your hard work and your effort. I gave you the pathway; you were the one who walked down
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And I think that's the important thing for people to remember, that you can have all the tools, all the information, the people behind you, the systems and processes in place, but if you're not doing that every single day in,
yeah, yeah.
day out, it's you that got yourself from not being able to afford to park to buying yourself a
Yeah,
new
man, it's a mate.
Rolex.
That's a bad place to be. That is.
And yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of people are going to resonate this, because I think we've all been through times, unless you've obviously been born into a wealthy family, we've all been through times where
Yeah,
you've had things like that. Like obviously my wife and I, when we found out we were pregnant, we were traveling
yeah.
earlier this year.
Congratulations as well, man.
Thank you very
That's
much, man. Obviously we were traveling, and we were having a great time. We've been all over the world this year in the first 5 months already. And 5 years ago for us, that wasn't a reality. Do you know what I mean? We were
yeah,
locked down in my parents' two-bed apartment, 5 adults, dog, um, with nothing to our name. I was only £1,300 a month military. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's
Same, same.
it's take it's taken that action. So that's really, really good. And I'm really, really proud of you for that, man. I genuinely had this kind of slight inclination in my head that when you signed up, you were probably going to be the most difficult mentee that I'd ever worked with, just because of
Yeah,
how kind of wishy-washy it
yeah,
was to sign it up. But we kind of got off that first call, and I was like, no, fuck, this guy's got something. And you proved everything. My preconception about you proved me wrong. And
yeah,
I've learned as much from you as you have from me, more about kind of people and the intrinsic motivations that you have than I have, from anyone else. And I'm really, really proud of you for that. And all the success I see you have now, because you've just bought a house as well, haven't you?
No, but we've not bought, but we've moved out. Like, but it's cost me like the best part of like 16 to 18 grand.
Yeah,
It's
fun.
yeah, but I was in that situation where I was stuck at my missus's mum and dad's in the top floor in the bedroom, and at 8 o'clock, mate, when baby went to sleep, every lights out. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
living in a. And another thing I want to say as well, when you talked about like your preconception of me at the start, like I'm not your typical agency owner. Like
no,
if
you're
you
not at
hear me
all.
talk, look at me, you wouldn't think like that. Like my missus says, like when we go out places, like you wouldn't think like I've got my own business or something because of the way I am. But that's what I'm saying. Like I've spoke to people inside the group, like Liam Wright,
Mhm.
and talks really well, looks the part. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking, mate, I'm at such a disadvantage. Come from a council estate. Couldn't speak properly when I was a kid. Still can't speak the best now. But every disadvantage you can name, that's that's what I've got. Ugly, everything, mate. I've got all the disadvantages. But what I can confidently say to anybody that's watching this, that's got an agency and you're struggling, maybe you're below 10K per month, even if you're above 10K per month, this program, the online digital coaching program, and the community inside there, I'd bet everything that if you do what you're told, you'll get to whatever revenue goal you set per month. And not only that, when you get there, like I say, you unlock new challenges. It's like a PlayStation game. But every level you get to, there's like a new big test, and you don't just get left after you pay. It's like Mark's always next. It's been over a year now. Mark's always, whenever I've got a new problem, Mark will jump on a call with me and tell me what I need to do. Like, you don't get that anywhere else. Like, I've paid for mentorship programs before, and it's like, take your money and then give you a few little documents and little mini video courses, then ignore your messages for 12 months.
Yeah,
You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. So in terms of, obviously we've gone from, zero to £35,000 a month plus. What's next? What do you want to achieve next? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, so ideally, um, by the end of next year, like, I've got the number in my head to be doing about 150K per month.
Mhm.
And it's just sort of like you've been helping me as well, build teams out inside the business, get me out the day to day, out the weeds, out the trenches. And I'll call it the trenches. I was always stuck in the trench. Well, was not so much anymore. So I'll build a team around me and systemize as much of a business as possible. That's taken so much of my time. And yeah, and I feel like it's possible. It's probably, if I get everything systemized soon enough, then you never know what's possible in 6 months. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not unattainable. You've got the tools there. Obviously, like you said a little while earlier, every time you get to like a different revenue level, it's like a PlayStation game, something else unlocks.
Yeah,
And there's different problems that you face at 35 and 135K a month. Um, but you're well equipped to deal with that. It's not,
yeah,
for every problem that you come to, there was a solution one way or another. I firmly believe that every problem you have, there is a solution and a roadmap around that, and 100% will be there to guide you along the way. Now, look, I know you're a very, very busy man. I know you're off to Dublin for a content shoot this weekend.
yeah.
Final question for you, Bran. Why would you recommend that someone works with us on a coaching program?
What would I recommend that someone works with you guys? Well, personally, I'd say it's the best decision by far I've ever made in the worst period of my life, when that money was everything. It's the best money I've ever spent. Best by far. And what I'd also say is, for anybody that's looking to get to the next, I can almost guarantee the success if they do what you tell them to do. And not only that, like, they've got like me in the group that can help them. They've got Aaron, they've got Francesca, they've got Liam, they've got, like, how many is there? 15 people.
I think there's 16 or 17 people that
Yeah.
are active in the group. Right, yeah.
And everyone's at a different level now to where they started.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, it's 100% guaranteed success if you do what Mark tells you to do. It's But you just got to do it. You got to do it. You got to follow through, take action, make the jump, and just do what's suggested by someone who knows better than you. So that's it.
Well, thank you very much, my man, and enjoy your flight over to Dublin.
Okay, my man. Top man, Mark. Appreciate you, man.
Cheers, brother.